last week I finished my video with this little clip. In the box we have a grounded chaffinch. Now, finches quite often suffer from a disease called trichomoniasis, but I don't think this is what's wrong with this one. I was told it had an injured wing, but the wings look okay to me. But I'll give it a once over, but there's no sign. Quite often with the trichomoniasis there's a lot of sort of gunk around the mouth, and there's no sign of that, and also the bird's all fluffed up. Well, this one isn't, and it seems quite alert as well. They're normally quite dopey, so I'll give it a proper once over and see what I can see. But in the meantime, I'm just going to pop it in here with some food and some water. I promised an update of the story of the chaffinch, so here's how it turned out. I've put it in and it's showing some strange behaviour. You can see its head's moving its head around a lot, which is quite unusual. So I'm going to consult a couple of people that know a bit more about birds than me and see what they say, and see if there's any treatment for whatever's wrong with it. That strange behaviour stopped, and the weaving of the head was absent, and let out and hopped about, and it ate a few spiders, a few flies from some spiders' webs, and then I popped back in the brooder, and chaffinch fed quite happily and very well, and was drinking, moving about, not flying, but I was quite hopeful about how things would turn out, because as long as a bird's eating and drinking, well, there's always a chance. I've just come in to check on the chaffinch this morning. Sadly, it's died during the night. I don't know why. Maybe it had some sort of illness in there, but I gave it the best chance I could. It's always a bit of a shame when wildlife you try to look after doesn't make it, but if you've been able to catch it, that's usually a sign that it's not in a good way. Bit of a shame. I'm not going to show you it because I don't think you would want that in this video. So a bit gutted, but I gave it a chance, and at least it died well fed and peacefully and safe and feeling safe. So it's the best, I suppose, I can say. Okay. My neighbour's just come to the back door with a bucket that she thought had a mouse in it. It turns out it's not. It's a little bank hole here. So I'm just going to release it in the hedge here. I'm not taking it far away and that. It'll live around here, so there's no reason to take it further away to be released. I'm not wearing gloves to handle this bankful, as you can see, and one of the reasons for that, or the main reason for that, is I didn't know how long it had been in that bucket. I wasn't going to waste time searching around for gloves to put on. I was handling it for a very short period of time, and I just wanted to get it out and get it back because I was worried about, how hungry and thirsty it was going to be, and I never even took time to even sex the thing before I released it. And here it goes. Go, off you go. A project that my wife and I have set up is Muddy Church for the parishes of Hobkirk and Southdean with Ribberslaw churches. Now, my wife's a minister, hence the reason why we're involved, and it's Muddy Church is a way of getting all ages out, looking at what's around them, including the wildlife. So my wife's expecting quite a bit of input from me, so we've decided to set up a Facebook page, and we'll be putting up activities that people can get out with and do during lockdown, and then once lockdown's over we'll actually be meeting up in person, hopefully. So we've set up the Facebook page, and if you want to find out a bit more, have a look. Well, I'm down by the TV out here. just with my bat detector, really mild, so I'm hoping that maybe some bats have come out of hibernation this early in the year. I'm also listening to Nick Baker live because Sunset is, well, Nick's doing his live Instagram feed, so I'm listening to that and it's keeping me entertained, and there's some blackbirds flying across the TV. It's keeping them entertained while I wait and see if any bats turn up, and if they don't, doesn't matter, I've listened to something interesting. Down this bit next to the TV there's often mole activity, but there's a lot of fresh mole digging. You can actually see the darker soil. Look at all this. The snow has just melted yesterday, so I assume that they haven't been doing any digging because it's been so cold. And there's loads. In fact, there's even this tiny, look at the size of this tiny molehill here. Look at the size of it. Brilliant. So yes, I did some digging here last year, some mole trapping, and got myself a mole for a mammal workshop that I was doing to demonstrate what a mole looks like. You should never live trap moles unless you know what you're doing though, because it can be quite traumatic for the mole, and they can unfortunately die if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, it's 15th of February and I've just heard my first pipistrelle of the year. I think it was a soprano, but I can't be sure. It was just passing through and I never managed to tune in enough to know. So I'm really pleased. Unfortunately, never managed to get to record it. Hopefully I might get a chance again. Right, I've just set up the moth trap. I've seen a couple of posts on social media about moths being out and about and being turned up in traps, so I'm hoping tonight it's a mild night that's forecast. A wee bit breezy, that's the only thing that I'm concerned about, but hopefully tomorrow morning we might actually have a moth or two in the moth trap. Let's wait and see. Well, the wind obviously got up a bit last night because that's what's happened to the moth trap. So I'm just going to go and clear it up. I doubt we've got anything in it, but you never know. Of course, this woodlice are invertebrates, and they're crustaceans, and seemingly very good to eat as well, high in protein. I've also got this gorgeous male spider, which I'll have to try and get an ID for. It's reasonably sized. There's my finger next to it, just for comparison. So I can tell it's a male because can you see these swellings here, just sort of like right there, here at the front, like little boxing gloves. That's their palps, and that's used by male to basically put their sperm inside the female. They scoop their sperm up and pop it in. Well, here we are in the kitchen, so that can only mean one thing, can't it? As you can see, one of the longworths has its door shut, so let's go and see what's in it. No great surprises here. It's another wood mouse. It's been a good couple of weeks, I think it is, since I've had the bank full. But classic wood mouse, big ears, big eyes and a long tail. Slightly different place I'm releasing today, only because I need to get some milk from the shop, and this is my second release site, is near the village shop. There we go. Hi and welcome to the review section. This week I'm going a bit technical. I'm going to review an app that's on my Android phone. Unfortunately it's not on my iPhone. I got my iPhone a few months ago, but I've kept my Android, and one of the reasons is because of this very app. It's developed by a company called Elecon, which also produces a bat detector called Bat Scanner, and it lets you listen to recordings of different species of bats that are found in Europe. Not all of them you'll find in the UK, but it's really useful, and I find it really useful if I've got a small group out doing a bat walk. I can actually, if I turn the volume up on my phone, I can actually let them listen to the bat calls that they should be listening out for in the detector, so that they know what to listen for when the bats finally show up. Because bat detectors also pick up other things like rattling of keys and sort of other interference. Mobile phones, they also pick that up, the old mobile phone interference. So it's a really good app, and I'll just show you how it works. Now, can I remember how to do a recording of the screen? Right, here we go. So, go into the App Store, and it would help if I went into the App Store rather than the games, right. Go into the App Store, open it up, search for BatLib. I've already searched for it this morning, so it's there. Open up the app, so you can see that it was last updated in April 2020. So it's a while ago it was updated, but it's supporting all the new Android systems up to that date, and it's also had a Myotis species recording added, and they've also got be able to set and filter favourite species, which is really useful from my point of view. It's got quite high ratings. It's got 3.9. I have to say, looking at some of this, the 1-star reviews, well, there's only one with a comment, and it basically says it takes you to an app that the app just takes you to a website to buy a bat detector, and it doesn't let you sort of identify bats. Well, that's not what this. You don't point and shoot with an app. There's no app that's been developed that will let you do that. Just point and sort of like and let tell you what bats are. But it gives you recordings, and that's actually your first step in learning what different species of bats sound like. So actually, I feel that review's a bit a poor one. There's also a 3-star review, which I try not to laugh at because obviously the person doesn't understand, but they actually say that they're trying to coax bats out their barn with the bat calls, and it's not worked yet. And they've got a little smiley face. Well, it's not going to, because that's not what these are. These are bat calls that we hear at our hearing that have been brought down from the high frequency that bats make. It's not going to affect bats whatsoever. Playing these sounds. So anyway, on here we've got. I'll open up the app now from the App Store, and you open up and you press go, and you've got full list of all the different bat species that are on it. So we'll go for pipistrelle, common pipistrelle. So it's a nice common pipistrelle there, and I don't know whether you can hear that just after when I start it, just a bit. Now that little buzz, that's a feeding buzz. That tells you that the bat's just zoning in on something. So that's what pipistrelles sound like. There's other ones in here. The noctule, the common noctule. It's completely different. Very loud. It's actually one of the it's one of the loudest bats around. So it's certainly one of the loudest bats in the UK, or the loudest bat in the UK, and you won't sort of like mistake it when it's on a bat detector, especially if it's close, because it is very loud. And then you've got other ones like the Myotis species. I'll just find there's the Benton. So this is the one you'll find on rivers. Very crackly sound, and it's skims across rivers and ponds. So it's a really good app. if you've got an Android phone and you're into bats and you want to learn, and you've got a bat detector and you want to learn the sounds, so what to listen for, this is a really great one. It's also interesting to listen to other bats. The lesser horseshoe bat, which we do get in the UK, but it's a lot further south, is just crazy. Listen to this. It's like something out of a science fiction movie. So anyway, have a look. It's a free app, so and it's really good. Most of the bats have a picture next to them as well. Although really you don't need the picture, because if they're in flight, it's really hard to tell to tell with bats. And they've got recordings. I think they've all got recordings now next to them. Yep. So have a look at the app and see what you think of it. Dexter's knows there's something in one of the long words. It's not the one. Yes, I think he's got the one it's at now. Right, so we'll see what's in it. Right, come away, Dexter. Good boy. Right, just going to see what's in the mammal trap this time round. Another wood mouse. Let's get this one out and see whether it's a male or a female. It's looking from its back end, that looks a bit male type, but you have to look underneath just to be certain. Yep, I was right. It is indeed a male. So pop it in a tub and off it goes to be released. Right, just walking down to release wood mouse. Off you go. One thing I notice on social media a lot is people posting pictures of skulls they've found. Now, before I go into that in any great detail, one thing I would say is, if you're going to post a picture on social media, whether it's of a skull, an animal track, some droppings, sprains, what to do is put something next to it for scale. As I said last week, I always carry a wee roll in my bag that I can put down next to it. But if you haven't got something like that, a coin, a key, something that's an obvious size, so like a Yale key or a car key, because they're all roughly the same size, put that down next to it. Even sort of like, it's not great because people's hands vary in size, but even a finger can actually help with scale. So put something down, because some things, especially when it comes to something like skulls, some of the mustelids can be quite similar, and it's size that is actually the main difference. So we need, if you're wanting someone to actually help ID it, they need to know an idea of size. So one of the things I've actually noticed recently is a few ones, people putting up photos of skulls and saying, what is this? And there's great debate over whether it's a badger or a fox. I happen to have a couple of skulls here. One is fox and one is badger, and you can actually see just from the top, the big difference is the length of the nose of the fox compared to the badger, which is not surprising. As they're carnivores, they've got forward facing eyes. Just as an aside, I still haven't got over the John Finnemore sketch from his souvenir guide programme on radio, where it was pointed out that wombats have forward facing eyes. So are they carnivores? And the punchline to it was, where had the dog gone that they were looking for? Anyway, so here's Dexter. Dexter's come to join me because I've got bones up here. Right. Sit down. Right. So, another big difference is in the between the two is foxes. Their jaw is just sitting in some grooves there. Badgers is actually in. The only way the badger will lose its jaw after it's dead and once it turns into skull is if the jaw breaks along that join there, and they'll fall out. But if it's actually if it's a big skull with a hinged jaw like that, it's a badger. Now, I know, I would reshoot this, but I don't know whether Dexter's going to appear in it any other time, and he's become a bit of a lucky mascot in my wildlife year videos to appear every week. So another thing that people often talk about is this crest in the badgers. Now, that crest there is actually it sticks up so that the muscles can actually attach to the jaw muscles to go in it. But all carnivores have quite strong jaw muscles, so although it isn't as big, the fox does have a bit of a crest as well. And some people, as soon as they see a crest on it, that they automatically go, "Oh, it's a badger," and it's not. It's a fox. This one has quite often they'll lose their teeth. This badger's actually lost a big front tooth there. I have it somewhere in my skull drawer. I just couldn't find it this morning. This badger I actually think died of old age because his teeth, you won't be able to see, but those teeth there are so worn down and thin. You can actually see in this one here, I can actually look up to the light and see light through the tooth. It is so thin. The foxes, you rarely find them with all their teeth because they drop out a lot more than badgers do for some reason. So you've got the two big canines there and some smaller ones at the front. So that's some differences between the two. Last week I actually reviewed this book, Britain's Mammals. It's a field guide, and I said it's an excellent field guide. The only thing that it actually doesn't have is, Dexter, leave the skulls be. No, leave them be. This is the reason why I keep my skulls out of my office. This book here, I reviewed last week, and I said it's a really good book, but what it really lacks is some really good information in skulls, and there is in bones. There is a reason for that. This book here, Mammals of Britain, Their Tracks, Trails and Signs by Lawrence and Brown, is an excellent book. You can't get it new, but if you search on either Amazon, eBay or other books sites, you'll probably find it for about £10 to £15 plus postage and packing. It's an excellent book, and it covers bones in details. So it's got fox, that's dog there, and this is fox here. Dog's obviously very variable. We've got badger and otter, and it's not just that, we've also got lots of other bones in here as well. So you've got pelvic bones and leg bones as well. So it is an absolute must if you're into bones and want to identify them. This is probably the book I would say that you want to get. This isn't a review section, I'm just sort of like giving you a hint and tip there. The review section was in the BatLib app. So that's how you tell the difference between fox and badger. I hope that was helpful. Right, it's supposed to be dry again tonight. Clear sky at the moment. So it's supposed to be raining about 7 o'clock so in the morning, so I'll be up early to take in the moth trap before it gets too wet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be something in the moth trap tomorrow and it won't blow away like it did a couple of nights ago. Right, well, I'm standing up on a slope. There's a badger set just over there. I've set up trail cam here, so hopefully tomorrow when I come and check I'll be able to get some badger footage. Fingers crossed. Last time I tried this it didn't work, but hopefully tonight we'll get something. There seems to be there's quite a lot of movement on this track, so I'm hoping that means that they'll be a bit more active than they were a few weeks ago. Let's wait and see. Right, I've come out because the forecast said it was going to be dry, and I thought I'll go out the bat detector. I've already put the moth trap out and it started raining. Just what I need. Can't trust anything, even the weather forecast nowadays. Right, so let's see if we got anything. Nothing in that one. Nothing there. Nothing. There's a wee bit of unplanned rain, so a wee bit of water's getting, but not much, because this is moth trap's designed quite well to stop that. No. It's not. This isn't looking good. No. And just check into this room. No, nothing there. Only other place sometimes moths come to is under there, under that little room there, but no, there's nothing there. So, nothing in the moth trap. Again, that's another negative of that. I haven't managed to catch any video of bats in the bat detector, although I have heard a couple of soprano pipistrelles. I'm just hoping that my camera trap that's out has got something on it. Otherwise it is going to be a very, very short My Wildlife Year video this week. Right, so I'm just on my way to collect the camera trap. I'm really hoping that there's something in it. Otherwise, as I say, this is going to be a very short My Wildlife Year video this week, unless I go out in the lovely weather today and get soaked through doing something else. Right, so here we have the camera trap still in place. I'll just unlock the piping cable, unlock this one, pop the trap out and see what's in the SD card, if anything. Well, it's quite a steep banking to get up here. Thankfully I was able to hold on to some branches and also some ivy, thick ivy that was around some trees, and also using my trusty stick. I often have a stick when I go out, not really because I need it for walking, or sometimes the old knee gives me some jip. It's more just, it's really useful to have something for getting up steep bankings and the like. So let's see what's in the camera trap. Well, My Wildlife Year Week 7 started off on a low note with the Chaffinch not making it, but I'm really pleased to be finishing off on a high with a lovely bit of badger footage. So, hope you enjoyed this week's video. Remember, I've got a crowdfunder out at the moment if you want to help raise some funds for my community wildlife projects. And if you've got any questions or any comments, please leave them in any of the social media. Thanks. Cheers.